Hello everyone. For lunch today, I am going to smoke up some sausage, chicken, and some beef ribs. These are actually some center cut beef back ribs. They are really good and they're really affordable, usually around about $10 a pack. It's a little difficult right now to get the 3-bone, thick, real thick beef ribs that everybody kind of cooks right now. So these are a good substitution in between, and they're way more affordable, and you can pretty much find these anywhere. Those are probably going to be for dinner and possibly even the chicken. So let's get her on the smoker. These I will be cooking on the front side where the temperatures are a little bit warmer. And for those of you who are paying attention, the sausage is already pre-cooked, so this is more or less just to heat it up and give it a little bit of extra flavor. So I'm going to be putting that on with my left hand, which is gloved, and I'm also going to be doing the chicken left-handed. I really don't want any cross-contamination by touching raw food first and then cooked food. And then for the beef ribs, I will be putting those on left-handed, or right-handed, I'm sorry, with another gloved hand that hasn't touched any of the other meat. So let's get that on. First, let's see if I can get this glove off one-handed. Sorry about the shakiness of the camera. So, as you can see, right-handed. Put these a little further back. And I will be doing these around 250 for another hour or so, and then try to get it up to 275 for a couple hours. Wrap the ribs. I would assume that the sausage will probably be ready about an hour and a half or so. Let's check in and see how the ribs, chicken, and that sausage are coming along. Oh, sausage is perfect. Probably ready for that to come off. Chicken's doing pretty good. Ribs look like they're doing pretty good. Now you're seeing a little bit of a curvature on the one rib, and I expect that with the beef ribs. That's too much. That's still for the brisket. We'll style that in so I'm getting more of a mist. Still too much. Only because with the beef ribs, you can't really remove the membrane from the back, even though even pork I typically don't. But the membrane is much thicker, and when it contracts, you're gonna get a little bit of that curl up. But if I were to remove the membrane from the beef ribs, what would end up happening is as they cook over time, it would just fall apart. And you'd kind of have more of a mess on your hands trying to get it picked up off the grate than what it would be worth. I'm gonna go ahead and hit this chicken. I just don't want anything to burn. It's not. You can kind of see the that yellowing look on the fats there. That's the rendering, which is awesome. Sausage is done, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off, and we will come back out in a couple more hours, probably when it's time to wrap the ribs. May have to spray it one more time while I have it on here, and I'm gonna let the chicken go. I might even move it up to an upper rack just to get a little bit more crisp on the skin, but it's looking like it's doing pretty good. So I will get back to you guys in a little bit. Chicken and ribs have been cooking for about 3 hours or so now, so let's take a look and see how we're coming along there. Might be time to wrap the ribs. Yeah, chicken looks actually pretty good. Ribs I've got some decent pullback. Yeah, I think it's oh yeah, they're getting tender. Bark's set up on them pretty good. I think might be time to wrap the ribs, and I'm gonna test the chicken for doneness. I got a thermal pan. I'll take a look and see what temperature we're reading, and did we think it time to pull the chicken off and wrap the ribs? I'll show you that when I get back. It is time to wrap the ribs, and all I'm gonna do with the butcher paper here is spray it with the same spray I've been using to moisten the ribs as the cook's been going on. I'm not going to add any fat or anything like that, and mostly that's what I was afraid of, but mostly it's just so that I can move the paper around a little bit better. Plus It looks like today, if I'm lucky, this might add some weight to the wrap so that I'm not fighting the wind here with it blowing all over the place. So I'm actually gonna get this a little wetter than I would. And this is actually the exact same thing I would pretty much do for a brisket. And again, it's mostly just so that it's more pliable with the wrap so that you don't end up tearing anything while you're wrapping. I went a little heavier right now just because I'm trying to help myself film and not have the wind blow the paper everywhere. So we're gonna go ahead and get the ribs off, and I'm gonna try to show you how I wrap. Usually I can get away with just one sheet of paper for one rack of ribs. I don't normally have to double wrap. I like to go side to side like so. And as you can see, this paper is flexible, and that's kind of what I was hoping for with the extra spray. I will probably actually put these meat side down, so what I'll do is I'll fold these on top of the meat side. And the reason I do that is so that when they go back on the grill like that, it'll stay closed. And I typically like it to be a little bit tighter than that, so I might rewrap it once I'm off the camera here. I want it to be tight, but it doesn't have to be perfect on this. So what do we got going on? And then these will go back on the smoker, meat side down, and we will come back to it probably in about an hour or so. There's the ribs on the smoker, and it's gonna go ahead and pull this chicken off and let this rest in the house for a while. Oh, it's hot. I do have glove liners on, that's why you'll see me grabbing everything barehanded. I just find it's a lot easier than trying to mess with any sort of tongs or tools or anything along those lines. It's just faster and easier. Right now I don't have a lot of things on here, and I really haven't filmed anything with a lot of things on here, but just the filming alone, something I'm relatively new at doing, so I know I'm kind of all over the place and the quality could be a little bit better, but I'm working on it. But that's another reason I'm using the gloves. It's just easier for me to maneuver around without trying to do a phone and gloves and doing tongs. It's just do it one-handed. But honestly, I do it like this all the time just because it's more convenient. We'll come back to you when it's time to unwrap the ribs. It's been about an hour and a half since I wrapped the ribs. Let's check on them. It's probably time for them to come off. Let's see how we're doing here. Oh yeah, those are flexible. All right, go ahead and take the ribs off the smoker, and just about as important as how you smoke the ribs and the rubs and things you use, we need to rest them for a while, let them reabsorb the juices that they lost. That way they can stay tender and don't dry out when you cut into them.